Before we begin with today's market analysis, I would like to mention our new channel membership options. This is a special introductory offer which will open access to members-only trading strategy videos that are based on high-value, high-conviction investment strategies and are characterized by superior risk-to-reward metrics that target massive, market-beating returns over time. Please note, this is a limited time offering of just $9.99 per month, but members that sign up during this introductory period will be able to lock in this new low rate for the entire duration of the membership. Again, this early sign-up period will allow you to lock in this low introductory membership rate for life, and these new low introductory rates will only be made available for a limited time. Monthly membership prices will be going up after this short introductory period ends. With these comprehensive, members-only trading strategies, I only choose high-quality, high-conviction stocks that are easily accessible, with relatively low share price values that are designed for easy trade positioning, and combined long-term trading gains are expected to far outperform the monthly membership rate of just $9.99 per month. Join now to lock in your low introductory rate and start trading stocks with the pros. Now back to the video. Here we have the 2-hour price chart for NIO Incorporated, stock ticker NIO. So as we can see here, the stock is continuing to sort of grind lower a bit here. We did see some prior gapping activity that occurred previously. We can point to this area here quickly. And we can see that this price gap that has formed here roughly starts at 448. And then we can see that it sort of moves down to the top of the wick here would be 442. So there is a price gap here, but it's important to keep in mind this is a 6-cent price gap. So it's not exactly significant. And then in addition, we need to kind of mention the fact that stock markets as a whole today have been trading under fairly extreme selling pressure. If we're going to look at the technology space and, maybe in particular the car space within that demographic, we should point to the fact that Tesla shares had a massive sell-off today. I just released a video on the Tesla downward price movement, and that was a major decline. I mean, we're looking at some price gaps here, but if we were to compare this activity to what was seen in Tesla, there really is no comparison. There was a significant price gap with both of these stocks, but Tesla's downside activity totally dwarfs this. And then we do in general have a downside stock movement for the day. So there are not many stocks out there in the market that have performed well today. It would be much harder to find a gainer rather than a loser at this point. So we are currently seeing some downside activity here, but it's important to kind of keep the broader context in mind here because if we're kind of looking at the recent highs, which came in at this would be $4.70. Which posted during the Monday, July 22nd trading session. We're currently looking at lows of, let's see here, it's the low from the Wednesday trading session, July 24th, came in at $4.26. So we're talking about less than 50 cents here in downside price movement. We were kind of looking for a bit of a better break here for this downward trend pattern that we have been watching here. Sort of a descending triangle pattern that we have here. And we have seen some evidence of this starting to break to the top side, but it does become less encouraging and it does start to look more like a false breakout when we see price declines like this. So currently, we have to kind of balance these factors that are currently being seen in the market. We do have some downside activity here, but we saw massive slides in Tesla. So, and then the same thing occurs in the market as a whole. I would also encourage, it sounds a bit disconnected here, but I would also encourage people to look at the video that I posted from Meta Platforms. I understand that's a completely different industry, but it's an example of a stock that has completely fallen apart in the last 2 weeks. Just massive downside price moves. I'm not really trying to draw a connection here, based on industry sector or anything like that. I guess you can call them both tech companies in some sense, but really what I'm talking about here is just the fact that we've seen major declines in some of the Mag 7 stocks. And a lot of them are trading under pressure. I mean, Amazon is another example. So Nvidia. So, it would be much more abnormal for us to be seeing gains here rather than losses. There's a tremendous amount of selling pressure that's currently in the market. So, I understand that there are some people that have been holding this stock for quite a while. And I saw a comment recently. It looks like some people are interested in possibly closing their positions. Obviously it's your right to do that. It's your position and it's your money. But I would encourage people to kind of think about where we are here in the broader scheme of things, and then to also kind of understand why it is that you would consider closing the position. I mean, if you have other areas of the market, or if you have other stocks that you would prefer to buy instead, that would make sense. But if you're just getting out because you're kind of tired of holding, to me that makes a lot less sense, because if you leave the position at this point, you really are selling at the lows. So there is just a little bit of um, patience that's kind of warranted. I don't know. I really shouldn't say that, because I understand that some people have been holding a stock for an extremely long period of time, for years, and that is very patient. Um, but obviously people can do whatever they want with their money, but it's just important to kind of think about why. If you make a trading decision like that, it's just important to think about why you're doing it. Is it just because you're kind of tired of holding the position, or is it because you have a different stock in mind that you specifically would rather move into? Because the latter argument would make a lot more sense to me rather than the former. So just be careful about selling off at the lows here. I mean, you don't want to sell off at the worst possible time. That's definitely not the preferred way of doing things. So currently, really what I'm looking for here is for this price pattern here, this descending triangle pattern, to break in one direction or another. I mean, we could see that if we saw a convincing break below the 415 mark. That would sort of, kind of alleviate this downside support zone that we have outlined here. But the only problem with that is that we've got another support zone here relatively close by at 360. So there are still kind of layers of support here that are kind of working for the stock rather than against it. And then to the top side, what we're really looking at resistance at this point would come in at, I would call this 490, is one possibility. I mean, we do have a bit of work to do here, because we would need to move back through these exponential moving averages, and then also retest these prior highs. But as this downtrend continues, it's going to be harder and harder to maintain. I mean, if we were to see really any bounce at this point, it starts to invalidate the price pattern here. It starts to invalidate the descending triangle pattern. So these are the things that I would be looking for here. Is it possible that we'll continue to decline? Absolutely. I think that the stock market as a whole is in very precarious territory. So the real question here is that if you wanted to move out of this stock, what would be your next choice? I mean, where would you move from there? Do you have a specific stock in mind? Because there are many stocks at this point that are looking extremely weak at the moment, and it's possible to move from one loser right into another. So these are all things that should be kept in mind. Here's the current market outlook for NIO Incorporated, stock ticker NIO.